Okay, we're all set.
One question, do we at this point get a chance to choose our language?
Not yet, David. That will come after we do the introductions and instructions.
Okay.
Andy, we all set? Should I go ahead and start?
Yes, please.
Alrighty, thank you. On the record, please. Good evening and welcome everyone. To start, I want to explain how to use Zoom tonight to ensure that everyone can fully participate in this remote public comment hearing from the start. We have interpreters who will be translating from English to Portuguese and from Portuguese into English. To select your desired language, go to the globe icon at the bottom of your screen and select your desired language option so that you can hear everything said today with interpretation as needed. I will give you a moment so you can do that. Please do not check the box that says mute original audio. We recommend this so that you can still hear the voice of the actual speaker faintly in the background, but mostly you will hear the voice of the interpreter. Dial-in participants will hear the speaker's voice without interpretation, as Zoom does not offer interpretation for dial-in participants. However, all comments made by dial-in participants on this number will be interpreted. I now will allow the Portuguese interpreters to repeat these instructions in Portuguese. Thank you.
Boa noite. Para utilizar o idioma desejado, por favor, clique no ícone de um globo que aparecerá na frente, na parte inferior ao lado direito da tela. Selecione o seu idioma preferido, para que possa ouvir tudo o que for dito hoje com interpretação. Vamos dar um momento para que vocês possam fazer isso em breve. Por gentileza, não clique na caixa que diz Mute Original Audio, ou seja, silenciar o áudio original. Nós recomendamos isso para que ainda possa ouvir a voz do orador em som baixo ao fundo, mas escutará mais a voz do intérprete. Participantes que entrarem por telefone ouvirão apenas a voz do orador sem a interpretação, já que o som do Zoom ainda não oferece a interpretação para participação por telefone. Porém, qualquer comentário feito pelos participantes em seu idioma nativo será interpretado simultaneamente.
We're starting the interpretation now, so please select your language, Portuguese or English. Obrigado.
Hopefully everyone has chosen their desired language, English or Portuguese. I now would like to welcome everyone to this remote public comment hearing in the Department of Public Utilities docket number D.P.U. 22-95. This case involves National Grid's proposal to separate an approximately 1.85 mile segment of its existing 115 kilovolt overhead transmission lines currently installed on double circuit lattice towers onto two distinct sets of structures, which I will call the project. I will describe the project in more detail in a few moments. My name is Joan Foster Evans, and I am the presiding officer this evening for this proceeding, and I'm conducting this remote public comment hearing tonight. As you can see on your Zoom video screen, there are other people with me from the department who will be involved in the review of this project. They are Andrew Green, the director of the Department Siting Division, Wayne Wang, the assistant director of the Department Siting Division, and Smitha Divakar, a energy analyst with our Siting Division. Council and company representatives for National Grid are also participating remotely on the Zoom public comment hearing. Using Zoom, the public will have a full opportunity to see and hear everything said during this hearing and to offer comments and ask questions. For those of you accessing the meeting by phone dial-in, you too can hear everything and have an opportunity to comment or ask questions. The instructions on how to participate were provided in the public comment hearing notice that was published in the newspapers and in the notices sent to addresses near the project. The public comment hearing notice was also posted on National Grid's website. In addition, all the information contained in the notice, including instructions for participation, is available on the website for the department under Department D.P.U. Siting Calendar and today's date. Furthermore, the entire petition is available on the department's website under the name Somerset Fall River Line Separation. I will now describe briefly the nature of the filings made by National Grid related to its proposed project and the legal standards that govern the department's project review. Next, I will allow the company to make a presentation regarding the project. After that presentation, I will open the floor to comments and questions from members of the public who wish to offer oral comments tonight. Please note that we will also review written comments submitted by the public by email through Tuesday, April 18th, 2023. So let me describe the project briefly. The company proposes to separate a segment of its existing 115 kilovolt overhead transmission lines currently installed on double circuit lattice towers onto two distinct sets of structures. The project will be located mostly within an existing electric transmission line right-of-way that extends from National Grid's Pottersville switching station in Somerset, crosses the Taunton River into Fall River, and continues easterly within the right-of-way to Sykes Road substation in Fall River. The project also includes some modification at the Sykes Road substation to interconnect the two lines to the station. Please see the notice for a full description of the proposed project. National Grid filed its petition with the department under Massachusetts General Laws, Chapter 164, Section 72. Under the statute, the department will review the company's filing to determine whether the proposed project is necessary, serves the public convenience, and is consistent with the public interest. There are multiple ways that the public can participate in the department's review of the project. The first is to provide oral comments at this remote public comment hearing tonight. As I stated, you may also file written comments. In addition, you may choose to seek participation as an intervener or a limited participant. The deadline for requesting participation as an intervener or as a limited participant is Tuesday, April 18th, 2023. This date is also the deadline to provide written comments. We would encourage anyone who does seek to participate to review the material published on the department's website, which outlines the different ways in which you can participate in our proceedings. For example, you may participate as a full intervener. A full intervener has rights to ask discovery questions of the company, to present witnesses, to ask questions of witnesses testifying at the hearings, to file briefs and motions, and to appeal the decision of the department. In the alternative, you may participate as a limited participant. A limited participant can receive filings made in this proceeding and may file briefs with the department. A limited participant does not have the right, however, to appeal the final order of the department. The information on participation is also in the public comment hearing notice for this proceeding. Or if you would like a copy of the notice and the intervention rules sent to you, please send an email with your contact information to me at joan.evans, that's JOAN.EVANS at mass.gov. And I could send the information to you by email. So I would like to now swap and ask the company for appearance of counsel, please.
Thank you, Presiding Officer Evans. Good evening, everybody. My name is Mike Kaler from the law firm of Keegan Worland at 99 High Street in Boston, Mass. I'm here tonight with my colleague, David Rosenzweig, and we are here on behalf of National Grid. I'd also like to introduce Marissa Pizzi from National Grid. She's also representing the company in this proceeding.
Thank you, Mr. Kaler. I would note that National Grid has provided a certification that the notice for this public comment hearing has been provided consistent with the terms required by the department. At this point in time, would National Grid like to begin its presentation regarding the proposed project? And after that presentation, we will move to the public comment portion of the hearing. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Evans. Yes, we would. And I would like to, so National Grid has a number of subject matter experts on the call this evening that are available to answer any questions that may come up. I did want to just introduce the project manager, Dave Barron, and invite Dave to introduce the video that we're about to show.
Thank you, Mike. Good evening, everyone, and thank you to the department for hosting us tonight. We have our project team here, and as Mike Kaler mentioned, we have a video that provides, I think, a good overview of the proposed project. So we'll go ahead and show that video. We also will show the contact information for how folks, if they're reluctant to make a comment or ask a question, can reach the project team. We have a hotline set up as well as an email address, and as Joan mentioned, also a project website. So we'll go ahead and run the video and then we'll take questions. Thank you.
Welcome to National Grid's overview of the N12-M13 Transmission Line Upgrade Project. Located in the South Coast region of Massachusetts, this reliability project is one of the many designed to support the area's growing transmission needs, now and well into the future. The Southeastern Massachusetts and Rhode Island Transmission Reliability Program, or SEMA Rhode Island, was developed to address transmission reliability issues studied by the Independent System Operator of New England, ISO New England. The goal of the study was to identify and address reliability-based transmission needs in the SEMA Rhode Island area for the year 2026. To address the need for improved reliability, National Grid is investing in the electrical infrastructure in the greater Somerset and Fall River region through new construction and upgrades of substation and transmission lines. The 1.8-mile segment of overhead power lines to be reconstructed begins on the west shore of the Taunton River in Somerset, crosses the river to Fall River, and continues east along an existing transmission line corridor to the Sykes Road substation. Two transmission circuits, the N12 and M13, are currently carried on one set of transmission structures. The purpose of this project is to separate the two 115 kilovolt circuits to reduce the chances of an outage affecting both circuits, and also upgrade the wires to support additional electrical current, thereby improving reliability. The existing river crossing towers, one in Somerset and one in Fall River, will stay in place for the N12 circuit. Next to each of those, a Y-frame structure will be installed for the M13 circuit. This Y-frame design is preferred for the river crossing because of its modern design. Recently, National Grid installed Y-frame river crossing structures just south of this location, as seen here. The locations for the new structures on the shores of the Taunton River have been carefully evaluated for access and potential environmental impacts. The first step in preparing for construction is to clear the area of any vegetation. Next, timber mats are placed to provide a stable surface for equipment to travel on. Matting also protects the ground from the weight of the equipment. A concrete foundation is then installed. The concrete is delivered by truck over several weeks. After the concrete foundation sets, the new pole is brought onto the site in sections and installed with the help of a crane. When both river crossing poles are in place, the transmission wire will be strung between them, either by using a helicopter or a boat. Once construction is complete, mats are removed and the area is restored. In most of the remaining rights-of-way, each existing lattice structure will be replaced with 2 steel monopoles. One set of monopoles will support the N12 circuit, and one set will carry the M13 circuit. All work will take place within the existing corridor. The first step in preparing for construction is to clear the area of any vegetation. This may include taking down small trees in some places. Construction mats are used in certain areas like wetlands to minimize soil disturbance and provide stable surfaces for equipment. Most of the poles will be built on a concrete foundation. The concrete is delivered to the site and poured. After the concrete foundation sets, the new pole is brought onto the site in sections and installed with the help of a crane. A few additional poles are needed in the corridor to support the new wires. These will be located at intervals along the corridor. The pole installation continues until the structures of one complete circuit are erected. Insulators are installed and the wires are pulled in. The existing lattice structures are removed as the new structures for the second circuit are erected. Once construction is complete, mats are removed, disturbed areas are restored, and the lines are energized. As part of post-construction restoration, National Grid will work with abutting property owners to install new plantings for visual mitigation. Near the Sykes Road substation, some new transmission structures will be added to guide the lines into the station. Construction of the N12-M13 transmission line project will begin after all permits and approvals are in place and is expected to be completed approximately 18 months after construction begins. At National Grid, we are committed to delivering safe and reliable energy to the customers and communities we serve, and we encourage you to reach out throughout all phases of projects. Our team is always available to answer questions and address concerns. We look forward to hearing from you at info@southcoastreliabilityprojects.com or call 1-833-233-7277. For the latest in project news and construction information, visit southcoastreliabilityprojects.com.
Thank you, Mr. Barron. Anything further from the company at this time? No?
We did just want to, Mike, if you have that slide available with contact information,
Yeah,
if folks
pull it
can
up here.
jot it down. Again, we have a project website that has a lot of information on it. Also, that project email address or the project hotline, you can contact us through either of those, and one of our project team members will get back to you. And we look forward to speaking with our neighbors. So that's all we have, and we'll pass it back to the department.
Thank you, Mr. Barron. I'll wait till we take the slide back down again. Great, thank you. So before we begin the public comment portion of the hearing, I'd like to outline some guidelines to use in speaking at the hearing. There is a stenographer also participating remotely. The stenographer transcribes everything said during the hearing. This remote public comment hearing is also streaming to the department's YouTube channel and will be posted there. The recording will be posted in both English and Portuguese. While there is a transcript, a recording posted on the YouTube channel, it's only the transcript produced by the stenographer that's the official record of this hearing. As we are all relying on the internet or telephones to participate, we could experience some technical difficulties. such as sound from speakers, including potential background noise, video and audio issues, and potential delays. Therefore, it is important to speak slowly and clearly and to allow a speaker to finish before you begin speaking. And to pay attention to the video of the person speaking and to my video. I will raise my hand as a signal in my video if I need to interrupt the person currently speaking to ask them to stop. We appreciate everyone's cooperation in participating in this hearing. And I apologize in advance for any kind of technical difficulties during the hearing. If you have problems, technical problems, either raise your hand via the Zoom toolbar or dial *9 on your phone if you are participating by phone. You also may call or text 857-200-0065 for assistance. In the notice, we requested that anyone with interest in speaking tonight notify the department in advance if possible. This is a great help due to the mechanics of the remote platform. We will begin with officials who wish to be heard. Then we will proceed with members of the public who have signed up to speak. Finally, I will allow anyone who wishes to speak but did not have the chance to let us know in advance. When you speak, please give your name and address and spell your name for the stenographer. Speak slowly and clearly. Again, if I have to stop a speaker, please pay attention to my video and I'll raise my hand if I need to stop a speaker. If a company response to a comment or question is appropriate, I'll ask the company's representatives to respond. So first, I would like to start with public officials. Are there any public officials who wish to be heard tonight? Please raise your hand using Zoom, and one of our staff will take the steps necessary to allow your comments to be heard. Please identify yourself by giving your name and the office you hold for the record. So are there any public officials who wish to be heard at this time?
We have a hand raised by Gianna Tybalt. I don't know whether she responded to your request for officials, but her hand was raised and now it is, I think she has been moved into the panel. No?
She put down her hand.
Okay, my mistake. So
Any public officials out there who would like to speak? Okay, then we will now provide an opportunity for the public to speak. And we will open the floor first to those folks who have signed up in ahead of time to speak at this public comment hearing. And I believe we just had one person sign up. Ms. Smith.
I've promoted her to the panel.
Ms. Smith, are you there?
She has not accepted the promotion to the panel yet. No.
Her hand is raised. I can see that.
She's in the panel now, Joan.
I see that. Ms. Smith, would you like to put on your camera and unmute yourself? If your camera's not working, if you can at least unmute yourself and you can go ahead and speak.
There you go. There. Can you hear me now?
We can hear you. Thank you.
I'm so sorry. I'm on my phone. So yes, my name is Joanne Smith. I'm the Director of Facilities and Transportation for Family Service Association, and we own a daycare at 745 Wilson Road, which from what I can see on the map is cutting straight across almost right across the street from our daycare facility. I wanted to know how that would impact our facility.
Perhaps the company would like to respond to Ms. Smith?
Sure. Thank you for the question, Ms. Smith. This is David Barron. I'm National Grid's project manager. So we're familiar with your facility. The work on the project at that location will take place entirely within the existing transmission corridor and will be accessed by means of the corridor. So there really shouldn't be any direct impact to your facility.
No loss of power?
No, there'll be no interruption of power as a result of the project.
Okay, thank you. That's all I needed to know.
And again, Ms. Smith, we got your name here, and our team will be happy to set up a meeting and discuss further details. If you have any concerns, we'd be happy to come out and meet with you and talk you through the project in more detail.
Okay, that'd be great. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. At this point in time, I'm opening up the floor to anyone else who would like to comment or ask a question to the company regarding the project. Please either use the raise hand feature in Zoom or *9 on your phone if you are participating by phone.
I'm going to promote Gianna Thibault.
Good evening. Thank you very much. Can everyone hear me?
Hold
Yes,
on a
could
second. Yeah, I didn't get the name. So ask for the spelling for the first and last name because I'm not seeing it on the screen.
Yes, it's Gianna, Gianna, Thibault, T as in Tom, Hibeault.
Thank you.
I'm actually on this call on behalf of the two property owners. We actually own 1 New Street and 1606 Riverside Avenue. And we actually have a longstanding relationship with Liz Frisone, or Frisone, forgive me if I'm not pronouncing her last name correctly. She's a team lead, I believe, at National Grid. And we actually were approached by her in regard to this project, I believe some time ago, when she was looking for rental area and also easements. So our question was, how is this, one, going to impact our property, and 2, how can this project move forward without further discussions between us and National Grid?
And could you identify the addresses of those properties, please?
1 New Street and 1606 Riverside Avenue.
Thank you.
Yes. On either side of the river.
Would the company like to respond?
Sure. Yeah. Hi. Hello, Mrs. Thibault. And yes, we are absolutely interested in engaging with you. As you know, as you mentioned, it has been a longstanding relationship, or we have endeavored to discuss that issue with you, and we look forward to continuing to do that in good faith. And I think that we would like to have a meeting with you, and so we'd like to reach out and continue to work with you on it.
Absolutely. I guess my other question in regard to that, and of course that would be our motive as well. How do you plan on moving this project forward prior to us having that meeting?
Well, as you know, we have been attempting to work with you for a bit, and we recognize that is an important part of this project. We are going forward with the permitting in this proceeding on the hopes that we will be able to reach agreement and come to terms. And so, like I say, we are optimistic that we'd be able to continue to work together in a reasonable way. And I would just note that the project itself is in the company's right of way. And so we are trying to very much narrow the extent of property rights that we would be looking to negotiate with you.
Mm-hmm.
And so that would be certainly a big part of the conversation that we would hope to have with you.
Okay. Mike, forgive me. I don't know if we have had contact yet. There's quite a few members of my team involved on this. But maybe at a later date, we could exchange some information and move forward on our discussions.
Sounds good.
Thank you.
Great, thank you very much. Is there someone else who would like to comment at this point in time or ask questions from the company? Please use the raise hand feature on Zoom or *9 on your phone if you're participating by phone.
No, there is a Joyce Sylvia that's asking to speak.
Great, thank you. I don't see her yet. There she is. Ms. Sylvia? Ms. Sylvia, you are muted right now.
Okay, how can you hear me now?
I can hear you now. Could you state and spell your name and give us your address, please?
Sure, Joyce, Joyce, last name Sylvia, S as in Sam, Ilvia, and I am at 3080 North Main Street.
Thank you. Go ahead.
So in speaking with my neighbor, I believe that there's going to be a pole put behind his home, or 2 poles. It's right next to a bridge that has access to a dock for the lines to go through. And in the past, I've called and spoken with somebody like, how are you going to access that? There's street access from my neighbor's house, but like if you had to get to my house, there's no way for somebody to drive into my backyard. So I'm curious how that's going to occur if, you know, access is needed to get on there, because I also do have a sprinkler system and I don't want trucks driving over it if they need to access it through, get into my yard at all.
Thank you for the question, Ms. Sylvia. Again, this is Dave Barron. So yeah, you're right. We do have access to the transmission right-of-way, which the company owns the right-of-way and fee. That access comes off of North Main Street, north of your property. So we would be getting onto the right-of-way north of your property, off of North Main Street, and then traversing down the right-of-way corridor. So there shouldn't be any direct access onto your property.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, as you mentioned, we have a robust stakeholder and outreach program, and we look forward to continuing the conversation. We have met 3 or 4 times now with your neighbor, Mr. Geary, who lives right near the bridge, and you know, we've made some adjustments to the project, and as was mentioned in the project video, we're also proposing some landscape mitigation where we can do plantings on folks' property to help offset any visual impacts. So there shouldn't, in summary, there shouldn't be any direct impact on your property, but it's good to know that you have a sprinkler system, and certainly something we'll make note of. But again, we won't be directly on your property. Does that answer your question?
It answers that one. I have one other question. I know that there was a comment made about clearing brush, et cetera, you know, for the work. How much of an area are we talking about clearing out? I'm just thinking of the wildlife in the area. We've lost a lot of the wildlife because of the, you know, railroad going in, the trains. So I'm just wondering how much more of that we're going to lose. I don't know where these animals are going to go.
Yeah, so the area of the corridor near your property is really fully maintained. There's not any mature trees growing on the right of way, so there shouldn't be any mature tree removal. What there would be is some mowing of, you know, the low growing vegetation, just to help us establish the access and navigate the terrain. We would also put down those timber mats that you saw in the video to protect, the root mass of vegetation and ensure that there's no, erosion and soil disturbance. And then after the mats are removed, the corridor is allowed to revegetate to that sort of shrub, low growth state that you see out there now. So there really shouldn't be any mature trees that need to be addressed in your area of the right of way.
And is there a map or anything that defines how big of an area that right of way is behind the properties? I'm not thinking just of myself. I'm thinking of my neighbor who has, his garden out towards the edge of his property. Like, I don't know if any of that's going to be impacted.
Yeah, there are project maps. I think probably the best thing for us to do is to again have our team come out and meet with you and just sort of walk in back of your property, and we can explain the details and where things are going to be located. But again, there shouldn't be anything directly on your property or on your neighbor's property. The transmission corridor in that location is owned in fee by the company, by National Grid. It's not easements. So I would suggest we get your information here, Miss Sylvia, and we'll set up a meeting and walk it down with you on your property.
Okay, appreciate that.
Thank you.
Great, thank you, Ms. Sylvia. Is there anyone else at this time who would like to make a comment or ask questions? Please, again, use the Zoom raise hand feature or *9 on your phone if you're participating by phone. Would anyone like to speak at this point in time? I do not see any raised hands. Do you, Andy or Wayne?
Me neither.
No? Okay. Thank you, everyone who spoke. Appreciate it. I'm going to now remind you now that the entire proceeding tonight is being interpreted in real time. I'd also like to, before we conclude the public comment hearing this evening, I'd like to remind everyone of the opportunity to participate in the department's review of the project if you desire. We would encourage anyone who does seek to participate to review the information on different types of participation that is listed in the public comment hearing notice for this proceeding and on the department's website. If you would like a copy of the notice and intervention rules, please send your contact information to my email at joan.evans, joan.evans@mass.gov, and I could send that information to you by email. Any written comments that you might wish to file or any petitions to participate further in the evidentiary hearings should be sent to me at my email address. Comments are due at 5 o'clock on Tuesday, April 18th, 2023, and petitions to participate are also due by 5 o'clock on Tuesday, April 18th. In addition, any petitions or comments should be sent by email or email attachment to Counsel for National Grid, who is David Rosenzweig. You can send those emails to DROSEN at Keegan-Werlin, KEEGANWERLIN.com. Again, contact me if you want clarification of anything said tonight. At this point in time, once again, is there anyone, last call for anyone who would like to speak? Nothing? Okay, I would like to thank everyone tonight for their participation and wish everyone a good night. Thank you. Off the record.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.